How's it going, everyone? With Chamber being nerfed, Killjoy is now one of the strongest sentinels in the game.
Turret out.
In addition to that, with Split being back, Killjoy and Cypher can now rejoice as they have one of their strongest maps back. Now it's a debate as to whether Killjoy or Cypher is stronger, but in my opinion I think it's Killjoy. So let me start off with this B main setup. It's actually really good. Pretty simple, pretty quick to set up.
Placing swarm grenade.
You can set this up. It's super powerful pistol round, super powerful any round. People just come in up main, and usually when the jet dashes in, you can kill it right here. And overall, one of my favorite starting setups. Now another one of my favorite setups, same position, with the barrier still up, by the way, helps out. So you can take this nade, toss it, and every time it bounces off that wall, it won't always land in that mid region, but because of the box in B main, it tends to just funnel them in, you know, small choke point. Same addition here, with the turret there as well. You would put your bot at about the second step, is about my favorite sweet spot. Gives you enough space. 1 second while I drop the barriers. And as we wait for the barrier to come down, you know, I'd still argue that KJ is pretty strong because of this. This is almost a death sentence if people go into Mel and Split. Just throw your nade about here, aim a little below, hit that mid spot, and when anybody comes up into Mel, I promise you they will regret it because they'll be hit by the turret. Turret will see anybody here in Mel, the alarm bell will go off, and the nade will go off. Now that we are back here in A main, actually, it's a little different. See, the alarm bell can be played several ways. You can play it off here to the side, you can play it here. I like to put it here a little bit, and it depends how much I want. Definitely for sure you want to put a molly about right here in the middle. It looks like the sweet spot is about what this like decolored block is, if you can see here. Put it towards there. You are pretty much going to die. This might be a little bit safe spot if you chill in this corner. However, I like to either put the turret in this location. However, I don't like this one too much because essentially people can hear that from my main. But my next favorite spot is actually right here. Put it on the corner of this back block, and it will shoot whoever stands in that corner. Now time for one of my favorite combos. Something I actually really like to do is I like to put the turret behind this wall. I'll put a bot up in here in main. And I actually like to put the molly towards the right side as people tend to run this way when clearing this corner. I find that to be the most common, especially if you have somebody playing on site, people will go towards that side first. It's perfectly fine because the reason for this one molly, one bot setup is simple. You want to stay here in screens. While in screens, this is the ultimate part about it. See, you have this ability to put your ult about here-ish. You want to avoid being out in the open. Some people like this corner. I feel like that's conceding too much area, especially when it gives up a lot of heaven. I like getting about as close as I can here comfortably to where it covers the majority of a heaven and pushes them back into main. And as assault goes off, you want to run back into this corner, aim for the space between the glass here, and do a jumping throw. If done correctly, it flies over the top of the glass, falls in that back corner, and it's a free retake every single time. It's so good. Usually though, the only problem is that, you know, people like to come up and push it. If the enemy team has a Sage, they tend to wall off this area right here more often than not. It's actually kind of funny when they do that because it gives me the extra resistance that I need. And one last kind of weird area, actually. Let me call my bots back. Is I like to put a turret up here. As some people don't know this, but if the turret even sees you by a little bit, for example, somebody coming here into sight, the turret will shoot them. So you could even put your bot like here up against this and put your molly here on this entrance half. We can do both of these with that bot as well. And if they try to run into sight, if the turret spots them, they're going to get shot and then tied up with this molly. See, the strength of Killjoy lies in the fact that she can take away your shields. Once she chips you for your shields, it doesn't matter if you have a Phantom or Vandal. I know some of you hate that 140 headshot with the Phantom. So for sure, that is Killjoy's probably major strength, and this is still why I think this is one of Killjoy's strongest maps on defense. As for attack on A, it's pretty simple. Something did get kind of moved a little bit. So I noticed that this corner isn't as perfect as it used to be, but the best spot is usually here in this corner. Covers most of the site, and it actually makes you think that you can hide in elbow, but you cannot, in fact, hide in elbow. Because if we go all the way to elbow, you can see that there is like literally no way around. And when doing this, you typically want, usually your controller to smoke off screens, and that should literally get you to the site. If you smoke heavens and screens, you have no problem getting on the site with that ult. And last but not least, we have the B main push. It's probably one of the most famous pushes for Killjoy on this map. Obviously clear the opper here, do what you can, do a boombot, send a doggy, whatever. I like to put my turret here to watch back this way. Actually, scratch that. Maybe put the turret a little more inward that way. You want to really make sure nobody walks up on you here, because the people like to put the turret here. I like to maximize my area. Obviously you can go into this corner, but if you go into this corner, there's a wallbang possibility. So probably one of the best spots is here.
Initiated. My ultimate ready.
And by covering that overall, it doesn't cover the backside, but you can smoke that off, throw Molly in there, throw a raise nade, use breach aftershock. It clears everything that way.
Area's clear.
Pushes him out of heaven, way into the staircase in heaven, pushes him into mail. It gives you a free sight basically if you wall this off. So I really hope you all enjoyed this little mini Killjoy tutorial on Split. It's probably my best site to play, and as a Killjoy main, you should rejoice with this map. Killjoy is a very strong pick, and honestly, even if you don't know a ton, just kind of wing where your mollies go. Kind of predict. You could even do some simple stuff with, here on the plant side, something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. It can be a little cheesy. You can hide behind that box. You can hide here, swing people. Works great, for sure. So if you guys like more of this, please let me know. I'll try my best, and let's hope that the shorts come out nicely. And yeah, no, for sure, I'll try and share as much of my Killjoy knowledge as possible, as I now have 600 hours on the character.